Hello everyone, welcome to FMPod. That's right, it's episode 9. I haven't done one of these in a little bit, but I have broken a tradition. This video breaks a tradition because for the past 4 years, I have only uploaded 2 podcast episodes a year. And this video breaks that because that means that this year I've uploaded 3 episodes. How insane is that? I recently went to Spain. I'm sure you've seen a couple of videos. I just got my Madrid Metro video out, but I also did a bench video there. However, I didn't do my main, trip video. I usually do an entire trip video, documenting my entire, holiday, basically. I did one for Norway earlier this year. I did America last year. And I didn't do one this year because I just, there's a lot of stuff that did happen. But I also couldn't be bothered to film my holiday. So I didn't. And yeah, this podcast is a replacement for that, basically. I'm going to just go over what happened, and there's a few interesting things. So before I even got to Spain, right, my journey to the airport, to Heathrow, the Elizabeth line is not working, which is fantastic, because I dragged my entire family all the way to Liverpool Street just to find out that there was no Elizabeth line. They were all terminating at Paddington, which sucked. That was really annoying. So we had to do this strange interchange at Tottenham Court Road, take the Northern Line down to Leicester Square, and then take the Piccadilly to Heathrow. It's lucky that we've got 2 different lines that take you to the airport, otherwise we would have been buggered. That was not a great start, right? that was quite a stressful morning for no reason. We had a reasonably early flight before 12. Any flight before 12 I consider quite early. And we got to the airport, or Madrid. We got to Madrid at about, I don't know, what time was it? About maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, Spain time. Do you know what's weird? Spain time is, I think it's called Central European time. I don't know. I think that's what they go under, but it's 1 hour ahead, which is really strange, because geographically, England is more east than Spain. However, it's 1 hour behind, which would normally mean that it's more west. It's really strange. I don't know why it is that way, because Portugal uses the same time zone as us. They're the only other country in Europe that uses BST and GMT, which are, the UK time zones. And the rest of them are all, the rest of the countries that use that time zone, African countries, I think. But yeah, for whatever reason, Spain uses a different time zone, so we're 1 hour ahead, despite basically being the same, day-night cycle. If anything, it's an earlier day, a more west cycle. I'm babbling on. So we get there about 2-3 o'clock, and we get to the airport. Much like London, there is a metro station, a Madrid metro station, attached or within the airport. And I'm going with my entire family, right? And it's a little bit of my extended family as well, because I have family in Spain, and we were going to see family. So, so there's 7 people, right, at the airport trying to get metro cards. Metro cards the machines are ridiculous. I've never actually bought an Oyster card on a machine in London, but I don't think it's the same. These Metro card machines were insane. Like, you had to individually buy 7, which the process took about 2 minutes. So that's already just 15 minutes spent at one of these machines, plus the 5 minutes at the start that we had to like figure out everything, how the machine worked. That was a whole faff. We were there for about 15 minutes, maybe more like 20 minutes, before finally getting on the metro train into central Madrid, where we had an apartment. It was ridiculously hot. Oh my god, it was insane. Madrid is a very hot country, and throughout the entire experience, I basically said to myself, I'm not coming back to Spain in the summer ever again, because it's just unbearable. I am so... Well, I'm not so white, but I am pretty white. You know, I'm not as white as, like, a vampire, but I am, like, 75% British. And I'm not built for that kind of heat. It's ridiculous. I genuinely... I cannot handle it. It's too much, and I hated most of the, like, intense heat. I'm never going back to, like, that part of the world in summer, at least not for a while, because it's just too much. Anyway, that was the first day. That was just getting there. On the second day, I recorded my metro video. Pretty early in the morning. I got up at about 9 o'clock, which was about 8 o'clock for me regularly in the UK. I don't normally get up at that time, or I haven't been getting up at that time during the summer. You know, I've been off school for, like, at that point in time, just over a month, and I do not normally get up at that time, but for whatever reason I did. I think I also set an alarm, I'm not sure. But I got up at that time, and I actually went on the metro for like 2 hours. But before that, I accidentally bought a second metro card. I spent like 16, no, not 60. I accidentally spent like €6 on another metro card because I thought my one didn't work. Turns out you just have to push against the turn tiles. Right, I don't know, the things, the little, you know, in Shrek, right, where Donkey gets stuck in that's a turnstile. It's, oh my god, the Madrid Metro is so stupid. Okay, so with those turnstiles, they have, like, at least 3 or 4 different, like, types of gates on the Madrid Metro, because there's that one, the turnstile. That one you have to manually, like, push against to go in. Some of them automatically open. Some of them you don't need to press your card. They just automatically open, but you think you have to press your card. And some of them aren't automatic, but they're not turnstiles. And then on the way out, you don't have to tap on your way out, which is great. I actually really like that about the Madrid Metro. You don't have to tap on your way out. It's all sort of part of one system, but that's automatic as well. So that was the Madrid Metro. It's pretty good. I actually really liked it. I mean, you can go watch my video where I go on pretty much all of the lines. Later that day, we went into more central Madrid. We had a look around. Madrid hasn't got any, like, proper landmarks. That's what I realized. There is, like, no like, you can't think of anything. Like Paris, you got the Eiffel Tower. London, Big Ben, London Eye, Tower Bridge, St. Paul's, so many things. New York, you got Empire State Building, Statue of Liberty, Chrysler Building, you got Hyde Park, not Hyde Park, what's it, Central Park, because it's in the centre. You got loads of places. Those cities are known for stuff, right? Madrid, there's basically nothing, like, that is known. You go to Madrid and you realise, I actually don't know what is in this city. So it's actually quite nice to, like, look around, see what is obviously the big things in the city. Yeah, they've got big, like, shopping centres, a lot like Harrods. They've got a Harrods basically. Madrid's pretty nice. They've got a big the palace overlooking the peasants. There's the palace is literally on a raised like plateau, and then pretty much there's a sheer drop down onto like a park, and then more housing. I mean, superiority complex. But there's a big plaza in the center of Madrid, and there's this duck shop on like there's a big square, and then rows of shops on all four sides, right? And in the corner there is a duck shop. In one of the corners there's a duck shop. The strangest thing happened. So guy literally like waltzes in, doesn't like deliberately walk in, but just like notices the shop, sort of like, oh, okay, I'm gonna slowly walk into this shop. I watched all of this happen. Walks into the shop, picks up literally the first duck he sees, takes a photo of it, pays for it, takes it outside, puts the duck down, then takes more photos of it like it's a photo shoot or something, like different angles. He's got it on this railing, and he's just taking so many photos of this duck. It was the strangest thing. But that was most of Madrid. I was only there for a couple days. I met up with family and stuff. I can't speak Spanish, so I wasn't able to fully communicate with them, but I mean, most of them spoke a little bit of English. So it was okay to communicate with them. Big pause. Then I went down to El Campello in the following day. El Campello is a little town outside of Alicante. Alicante is a larger town just south of Benidorm. Now, if you're British, you know exactly what Benidorm is. I don't really need to explain that to you. But if you don't, Benidorm is basically this holiday destination, very cheap, very popular among British people to go to Spain, right? There's a whole TV show about it. There's like 9 seasons of that show. Steve Pemberton is in that show, guys. Inside Number 9 reference. But Benidorm is very famous for being basically mostly British people during the summer. I had no idea that it was so close, because I've been to Alicante a few times. Well, I've been once, not a few times. I don't know what I'm saying. I've been once before this trip, and I had no idea it was that close to Benidorm. But I found it quite funny. Anyway, El Campello on the south coast of Spain, right up against the Mediterranean, pretty close to Gibraltar and other such south coast Spain locations. We took a big train down. We didn't have a car until we got to Alicante. We took a big train down. I, for once, didn't have a single problem with big trains. I made a whole podcast episode about it. You guys can go listen. You guys can go listen to that. But for once, no problem with the big train. However, once we got to Alicante, we couldn't get the car. Well, we could get the car. Actually, I don't know what I'm on. I'm babbling. We couldn't go to the villa until 4 o'clock. We got there at 2:30. So, we were stuck in boiling Alicante for like an hour and a half. It sucked. We put all our luggage in the car. That was pretty good. And then we went into shopping centres and stuff just so we could stay cool until it was like 3:30, and then we started going towards the car and we drove to the villa. The villa had a pool. It was a pretty big villa, very nice. It was on the like sea view villa. There were really nice photos. I'll put them on screen. Really beautiful place. and there was a pool. That's going to come up later. But there was a distinct lack of good Wi-Fi connection. There we had a Wi-Fi box, but the living room where the Wi-Fi was quite far from my room, my bedroom. So, watching YouTube late at night, I just, the Wi-Fi isn't working, let me just turn on my 4G. Terrible idea. Oh my god, that was the worst mistake of the entire trip. Not the worst thing to happen, just the worst mistake that I made. Because then I ran out of 4G data, which meant that I could not use my phone outside of the villa for the rest of the trip. I still can't. I get renewed in 2 days, but I still can't. So I just don't have 4G at the moment, and I didn't have 4G for the rest of the Spain trip. So that meant that I couldn't use the laptop in my room like I hoped, so I had to use my laptop in the living room, right? Put it on the table. It wasn't a big deal, because I needed to upload bench videos number 39, which was the one where I was in Spain. My laptop is very slow. It's very, very slow, and it has been for a couple years now. I pretty much only use my main computer that I do all my videos on. So I don't use my laptop anymore, which means it hasn't been updated properly. And I didn't bother to check my laptop beforehand, so I had to fully update my laptop and also Final Cut Pro while there in Spain. And the Wi-Fi was so incredibly slow, and my laptop was so incredibly slow, it took 4 hours just to fully update everything. 4 hours. And then it turns out that I couldn't update my Final Cut Pro. It took 4 hours to fully update my laptop. Then it turns out I can't update my Final Cut Pro because I only bought Final Cut Pro on my computer, not my laptop, and I just sort of took a version of Final Cut Pro, put it on my hard drive, and then transferred it over to my laptop. I don't know if that counts as cheating, but it's very cheap, and I don't have to spend 300 quid on Final Cut Pro again just for my laptop. So that meant that I had an outdated version of Final Cut Pro that I couldn't update, and therefore couldn't use my hard drive. That meant I had to use Final Cut Pro in its basic form, without any of my presets or any of my projects that I have on my hard drive. I had to just use just Final Cut Pro. I'm saying that a lot. It was a whole ordeal just getting the 39th bench video out on time. I've never missed a bench video apart from number 7. I've never missed a bench video, and I will not miss a bench video until the last one on the 1st of September. Guys, make sure to be there on the 1st of September. Anyway, we had a pool in this villa. This pool was oddly salty. A pool isn't really supposed to be salty, but when it got in your mouth, you were like, oh, that's not right. Also, very hot, like a abnormally warm pool, probably has to do with the salt. This meant that warm water built up in my ear, and bacteria thought it would be a fun day to just infect my ear. So I got an ear infection. That sucked. I noticed pressure building in my ear on the Wednesday that we were there. This meant I spent my entire Wednesday evening and night at a hospital. That was a lot of fun. We got to the hospital at about 9 o'clock, and we left at about midnight. It was only 3 hours, but it was still just a whole ordeal. It was a Spanish hospital, obviously. I can't speak any Spanish, so my dad had to use his minimal, Spanish to just book appointments and get seen by doctors. Not everyone spoke Spanish in this hospital. So there were a few occasions where there was communication barriers and stuff, which was really difficult. So it turns out I just had a minor ear infection. That's all I had. I had to take drops in my eardrops, and ibuprofen for a couple days, actually pretty much the whole week. And that ruined the final 2 days of my holiday. It just sucked. I couldn't go in the pool anymore. And it was not fun. I just sort of sat on the sofa, melting away, watching YouTube pretty much for the last 2 days I was there. Luckily, it happened pretty late on. If it happened at the start, it would have sucked. But it happened pretty late on in our time in the villa. So it was okay. It wasn't terrible. But man, did I want to go home. And on the Saturday, finally did. We basically reversed everything we had done. Took the car to the main station at Alicante from Alicante, took the big train all the way up to Madrid, and then took the metro from Madrid to the airport, took the plane all the way back to Heathrow, and then took the train all the way back up to my local station. Bought some stuff at the airport, and the plane was slightly delayed, but it wasn't a big deal. We got to Heathrow about, 8 o'clock? No, 7 o'clock. It was 7 o'clock. But we got home at 10-ish. Ordered Nando's, which was great. And that was pretty much it. That was my experience in Spain. The ear infection wasn't fun. Just imagine someone pressing against the back of your ear just constantly. That's what it felt like. It really wasn't. It's not. Don't get in warm, salty pools. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, that's great. Maybe there'll be another podcast. I don't know what the topic would be, but maybe other stuff. I don't know. And I'll see you in the next podcast, depending on what it is. Thanks for listening. Bye.